Jack, here we're in it now. We're in it, man. I gotta say, the first thing I noticed though is you with the Lake Show shirt on. So, you big Lakers fan?
Yeah,
Or
I
just
mean,
like
that's
the
where I
shirt?
grew up. Nah,
Yeah.
this is where I grew up. Born and raised in LA, so always been a Laker fan. They renamed Staples Center apparently. So
Just
I'm a
seen
little
that.
hurt. I'm hurt. I'm saddened that it's tough. It's tough to see that. Obviously, they got their reasons.
Yeah, that's weird though. Like people would freak out if the Garden got renamed. You know what I'm saying? Out
Right?
here, Ruco. Like
Oh
Staples
yeah.
Center is a big deal in LA. Like for them
That
to rename that,
Staples.
and then just out of the blue, like it was no like, hey, we thinking about this or whatever. It's just one day, hey, the stadium's new name.
And it's tough, especially, it's Kobe, Kobe passed not long ago, and he built the Staples Center, and now they're out here change the name of it. Like he built that. Everybody wants to talk about like Magic, Kareem, everybody, but like they was at the Forum. Kobe built Staples Center, and he passed not long after. Now they're renaming it, so it hurts. It's gonna be weird name that they thrown on it. It hurts. It hurts to see that.
What is it again? It's crypto.
Crypto.com.
Crypto.com arena.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. See, now I want to share perspective. Like, I think these people don't think about the poor play-by-play broadcasters who have to do these games and remember all these different arena names. Like, I mean, it's funny. I called Nets Thunder on Sunday, and the Thunder arena was always like Chesapeake Energy. Arena. Obviously, it really stuck with me beautifully. But like, and the other day, it's something else, and I go to call, and like, my gosh, man, this just like every time you step in a building, it's like it's something different, and as a result, it does sort of like take away, I don't know, your ability to identify. Like, I still call Pac Bell. Like,
yes, 1,000.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like the old parks are still called, like it is what it is. Like the Coliseum is the Coliseum. Like Pac Bell still Pac Bell. Yeah, I mean, I think the Staples Center will always be the Staples Center, especially for that reason, because people always call it the Staples Center because of Kobe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, there's no way that
call it that.
Yeah,
everybody's gonna call it that for a long time. But like you said, if they change the name of the Garden, people wouldn't know what to do. It'd still be the Garden, no matter what.
They would tear that shit down out here if they try to change the name out here.
Man, I see when they try and rename highways in New York or bridges, and it's like, nah, it doesn't happen. Like, if you ask someone like, hey, do you want to go over the RFK bridge? They'll be like, no, but I'll take the Triborough.
Yeah.
Same bridge. Like, it's just not happening. I have to say too, like, I guess, I mean, we're talking about the Garden, but even like, think about Yankee Stadium. Like, I give both those franchises credit for not giving in to the sponsorship dollars, because I know the Yankees from jump when they had the new stadium, like, hey, like, this is, it's Yankee Stadium. It's not something sponsored. Like Madison Square Garden, obviously, they have a brand beyond just the teams that play there that is served with MSG, but they're not going to call it whatever. They have their little different areas within the Garden, right? They have the Hulu Theater, but they're not going to call the Garden something different right now. That would trip me out. That would definitely trip me. It's the kind of thing that like bothers fans, even though it seems superficial.
Yeah, Jack, have you been to any Lakers games this year? And what you think about the squad so far?
Yeah, what was the first? I've been to 2 so far this year. I went to second game of the year when they played Phoenix, and they were getting blown out by like 30.
I broadcasted
they came
that
back.
game.
Yeah, it was an ugly game, but they're still figuring out, what rotations they were going to use, what lineup was going to work, and they finally figured it out. They had AD at the 5, which they're figuring out is what they need to do when things flow properly. And then I was there the other night when they played the Heat, which was a good one. I mean, that was a good one. Braun was not playing, but Russ was active. Russ went off. Russ did his thing. They have times where they mold and they mesh together, and there's times where it just they play a young team like the Bulls, and they kind of got run out the gym because they was running up and down on them. Look, man, they're gonna figure out a way to work. You put those guys on the same team, they're gonna work. They've figured out their best lineup is with AD at the 5. It's hard to play. They did it a couple years ago when they would run out AD and JaVale or AD and Dwight. They tried to do it, it doesn't work quite as well now that you have Russ and Braun on the same team.
Mm-hmm.
But they still got the pieces. They'll make a move somewhere at some point.
Oh, they absolutely gonna make a move. I was at that Miami game in Staples Center or whatever it's called.
I saw you was there. I saw it later. I was like, damn.
Arena, see.
Yeah, I was out there. I got out there late and just went to the game. I think when they get LeBron back, I think it'll flow better because Russ will be able to run with the second unit and be able to do whatever he really wants to do, up and down the court. But I think once LeBron gets back, it'll be able to help them a little bit, with the offense up and down. But they definitely gonna have to make a move. Like they're gonna have to make a move before.
They're gonna have to make a move. Some of these teams look nice. The Warriors look scary.
Are good. The Nuggets are good. Nice. And when Jamal Murray comes back, the Bucks are good.
They got some players. They got players out west. But it's Lakers. You bring Braun back,
Yeah, the Warriors are the team that I would be worried about out there if I was the Lakers, because the one thing that's like struck me this year, and I think I've sensed it a little bit with maybe where the Nets are going to have to augment their roster, and I think the Lakers are going to have to a little bit too, is just needing another athlete or two. Like if you look at some of the other contending teams, they have some really dynamic young athletes, right? Like even if you think about the players for Golden State, right? Okay, you have your core with Draymond and Steph, and then eventually Clay getting back. But guys like Kuminga, who bring a level of athleticism, Gary Payton II, Jordan Poole, right? Even Wiggins, even though he's not quite as young as a couple of those other dudes, like his athleticism. Like you are gonna need like these teams, the Nets and the Lakers, and I put them in different categories. Nets have gotten off to a better start than the Lakers, and I think their duo is more primed than where the Lakers are at, and we'll see what happens with Kyrie. But they're both going to need another athlete. Like these other teams they have some like experienced scores, but they also have some good athleticism in the mix, and even Miami, right? Like
Miami's good. Tyler Hero's a beast, bro.
Exactly.
Like watching him
he was going off in that game.
Man, he gets to whatever spot. He gets to whatever spot he wants to on the court, bro. Like he's legit.
He was surprising. He was surprising watching him live, and he was taking shots from wherever. He had the confidence. He was pulling it, and it didn't matter what. But the Warriors have athletes up and down. They're going to get Clay back. That's going to be tough. They can play defense, and Clay doesn't have to come back and defend. They put Iguodala and Kuminga out there, and they're running a triangle and two against the Nets last night. Like that was, it was fun to watch that game last night. But they got athletes all over, and then Steph is free to just run around, and he can't miss right now. He's ridiculous. He's something else to watch.
I had to pull my Warrior shit back out, bro. I'm telling you.
This guy, he bounces all over. But I understand why after that performance. But so Jack, you grew up in LA, and I know I don't know, maybe our audience, some of them will be familiar with this, but a lot of them won't. Your high school rotation sounds like basically the filthiest high school rotation I've ever heard of in my life. And you, correct me if I'm wrong, you, Max Fried, Lucas Giolito, all part of the same high school rotation?
Yes.
Were you guys as ridiculous in high school as you would be if you were together on a major league team right now?
No, no, because right now we're better. And I was 2 years younger than them. So I was a sophomore throwing, I didn't throw very hard. I was 86, 88. I was getting guys out. Lucas was throwing 100. Max was still, 92, 95. But I think if you were to put all three of us together now, it's like that's a different beast. Thing, but if I was 2 years older, if we were all seniors at the same time, it might have been a little bit different. But those two together they were fun to watch. Those were some fun bullpens. Watching those two, and it's one of those things that it just happened by chance. Like I happened to go to school there. Lucas was already there. The only reason Max got there was because his school shut down athletics his senior year, and he was able to transfer for free or whatever it was, transfer with no penalty. Ended up at Harvard Westlake because they were best friends.
Wow.
So did you guys play against? I mean, with each other earlier before that high school experience, or
Lucas and Max had played together kind of that summer, just doing showcase events. But I'd only played with Lucas when I was a freshman. I played with him my freshman year and my sophomore year, and then they were both drafted when they were seniors.
Are you guys at that point, Jack? Are you guys ever having conversations like about, hey, we're gonna all be in the big leagues together someday, or how was that on the radar? Did you know that was in the cards for all of you?
I mean, it was conversation. One of their dads. I don't know if it was Max or Lucas' dad. I think it might have been one of their dads would tell me, this is going to be when they're getting drafted. This is going to be you in 2 years. Like, I can't wait to watch and see where you end up. And I was like, for me, I was like, yeah, I don't know about all that. I was going to college. I was gonna, go that route. I still at that point I didn't know too much about it. I was still learning about the draft and everything. We never paid attention to it.
Mm-hmm.
But it was always had conversation, and somewhere down the line we were gonna meet up. I didn't think I was gonna be a pitcher. They didn't think I was gonna be a pitcher. Max was an athlete. He could he could do both. Just won a Silver Slugger. Hats off to him. But there was always conversation. I mean, we always had competition. And then once I got drafted, then the conversation really started. Of all right, now we're gonna see what's gonna happen.
And you guys went to Game 6, right? And watched Max deal.
Yeah, we went and watched.
Yeah, how'd you guys decide to go? And what was it like sitting in the crowd watching your friend and former teammate shove to clinch a World Series?
Yeah. He did shove. He shoved. So I went to Game 5 in LA when the Braves came. I went and I kind of I got a ticket from a friend and was there, watched him pitch, left right away. One of the weirder feelings being there and watching from the other side, especially having just lost there. Max knows. I was torn on whether or not I wanted to go. I was like, you know what, I'll go. I'm gonna support him. I want to watch this. I want to see him. Go get it done. And then, they were going to Game 5 on Sunday night, and we were just hoping they'd pull it out and it'd be a wrap. And there was talks about whether or not, all right, are we gonna go to Houston or not? And I was like, you guys let me know. Once Lucas said that he was going to go to Houston, I was like, all right, give me a flight. I'll go to Houston. I'll be on that flight. I'll be there. And it was cool, man. It was fun watching him pitch. I've never been to Houston before. I've never seen that place. So it was dope watching him do it, get it done. Congrats to him. It was a different experience sitting on that side and being in the stands and watching it. It was weird. I'd prefer to be on the field playing.
Yeah.
But I'm happy for him. I'm real happy for him.
Was it a little less odd being in Houston than it was being in Dodger Stadium? Because like you said, you had just lost there.
It was weird being in LA.
Right?
It was weird. I had just been there. I was sitting closer to the Dodgers, right next to the Dodgers dugout. I was sitting right there, and having just lost and watching, I was like, we should be playing this game. We should be playing against the Braves right now. I was frustrated, but World Series is a little bit easier. I haven't done it once already. I was like, I want him to get this. I want him to get his. But LA was definitely a little weird and unsettling. Once he was done, I was out. I got out there right away. We hung around after he came out. We hung around. We had a bunch of people there hanging out. But once he was done, LA, my mom was there too. She was with my agent. She was already going. And I got a ticket that day, and I saw them. I said goodbye. I'm leaving. I'm out. Once he came out the game, I was like, I'm gone.
Try not
to
get
celebrate. Yeah,
I'm going home.
You know what though? It's a little different than Matt Harvey watching the Yankees in the legend seats while the Mets are playing. At the same time, because your team wasn't playing, and you got a childhood friend there. So I feel like you're good. It's really just you and your emotions.
It was interesting. Soto had come and done it when we played the Dodgers. He was there sitting right there, wearing Trey's jersey. It was cool to go and support and do that.
When you're just talking about your agent, Jack. You're and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you're about to be arbitration eligible for the first time.
Second year.
This is going to be your second year ARB eligible? Okay.
Yeah.
Got you. How much, when you're a young, really top line pitcher and you start to get into these years and you're on the brink of free agency, but pitching is also, it's a precarious profession, right? I mean, you dealt with it a little bit this year with the injuries in your shoulder. How much more present does the business part of it become when you get to these stages of your MLB service time? And obviously, that's something you could speak to as well.
You said the business part of it?
Yeah, like just knowing, like, okay, do I want to try and pull, let's say, a Sevy where it's kind of an intermediate fix where I know, I'm going to get 4 years where I'm good, but maybe it delays me getting the monster payday, right? But it also protects me against injury. But like, I mean, how much do you think about it?
It's a lot. I mean, it's a lot. You try not to think about it. You let your agent worry about it, and if you got a good one, he'll direct you on. And you got to trust that person. You got to trust whoever you got. You got to trust what they tell you. Hey, we should think about making a deal, or hey, they want to make a deal, or hey, like you go through these few years, you go through the arbitration system, you're gonna make money, you're gonna do well, and we figured out come free agency, or we figured out come that last year, do we want to do an extension before free agency? And you got to trust that guy that you're with, and you start to see the business of the game unfold and the way that it happens. But at the end of the day, you take care of your stuff on the field, you stay healthy, good things are gonna happen. And unfortunately, this year I wasn't healthy, I got hurt. And we're going the next 2 years and hopefully stay on the field, be healthy, and let everything else take care of itself. You just got to trust. For me, trust the guy that I'm with. He's taking care of me all the way up until this point. Took care of me in first year ARB, and that's the guy. And I think if you don't trust them, you could find yourself in some bad situations.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. You answered it perfectly because I never thought about any of the business stuff. Like, I mean, that's why I hired my agent. Like, we in this as a partnership, and I never thought about that. Like, I just always did what he guided me to do. The Indians put a contract in front of me. You think this is good? Okay, well, let's sign it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was always it was never any back and forth with me. I just always wanted to worry about the pitching side, and you worry about getting me paid. Like, I'll put up the numbers, and you get me the money. You know what I'm saying? But I did that to a fault where in 2008, I tried to pretend like I wasn't a free agent. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I tried to not think about the business. And I think that really put me in a bad spot the first half of 2008. Once I acknowledged that, I'm probably going to get traded. I am a free agent. I'm going to have to face, going out there and trying to figure out a contract. Then it just let me, like, relax and, I mean, you can't fucking ignore this big elephant in the room. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, and you're going to have the same thing. When you come up on free agency, you're going to be one of the top free agents, pitchers coming out in your class or whatever. So it's going to be there. Just don't make the mistake of trying not to think about it because it is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, you're going to have to accept it. But like you said, that's why you have your agent. You have him for that business side of it. So you don't have to think about it until you have to. But then you accept it for what it is and be like, all right, cool. This is what we're going out there pitching for.
And then once you accept that's you forever. Because that contract, because once you accept that and then, that's who you are, then you get the money and that's really who you are. You know what I'm saying? So then, you got a lot of shit that you pitching with. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, once you embrace that, who basically who you are, then that's who you become for the rest of your career. That makes sense.
No doubt. Yeah, 100%.
That's interesting, C. So what you're saying is rather than kind of treating it like this, boogeyman in the room that I don't want to acknowledge or I'm afraid of, you might as well be like, yes, this is my reality, because once you sign the deal, it's going to be your reality. You're going to wear that weight no matter what.
Once they give you that title of like, oh, he's the top free agent in the and they give you that the year before you're getting ready to come out.
Yeah.
So you got to put that backpack on and just run with that motherfucker forever. You know what I'm saying? Like, I tried not to. Like, I was always like, nah, just give me a little less than Barry Zito, or just give me a little less than Johan Santana. And once I was like, nah, fuck that. I'm put like, I am who I am, and like, I am gonna probably get the biggest contract. So like, I couldn't, shy away from that. Like, it is what it is. Like, I'm gonna have to wear this shit. So I put that shit on, and you gotta run with it.
See, did you ever feel that in a big, like going into a big game? Would you accept the big game for what it is, or would you try to play it down? Like, oh, this doesn't mean that.
Always play the big game for what it is, because it's, I mean, they're all the same, when you drive into the park or when you pulling up, but you know it's that extra little bit. So it's going to be in you. It's going to be there. So you got to acknowledge that extra little adrenaline you're going to have when you go out there in the first couple innings. Like you're going to have that extra little zip on your fastball. Breaking ball is going to be a little tighter. So if you acknowledge that, you know what I'm saying? It's easier for you to control that.
I think it's the same thing. Like you talk about you accepting the free agency, accepting that. Like I think that happens to people in games. They play down what the game is and what the magnitude of the game is, and you play it down so much that you don't go out performing. You're not ready for it. You're not ready for that extra little bit of adrenaline to understand. Like this is what it is. Like this is game 7 or this is game 5, whatever. This elimination game. Like you're gonna be a little bit hyped up, and it's just that accepting, this is a situation for what it is, and taking it and run with it.
Yeah, for sure. And I think for you, like being with the Cardinals, you always gonna pitch in big games, right? You're always gonna have the Cubs rivalry. The Brewers are now a big time rivalry, and now you get a chance to watch Waino do it. Like being able to like watch him is like for you, like being able to watch Andy Pettitte. Like I literally watched everything he did and just mimicked it with better stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like. Yeah. It's the same, but you just have the better stuff right now. So, and it'll also teach you how to be able to pitch, later in your career. But I feel like you kind of in the same spot that I was when I had Andy, pitching for this big franchise and it's all these big games, and you wearing this uniform, and you're about to step into, the next part of your career, which is being the ace of a big time franchise, and you have Waino there to help you kind of step into that.
Yeah, no, for sure. Absolutely. I watch him day in, day out. I think he was fun to watch. The prep, the work, the focus that he has, especially, game day, he's days 1 through 4, he's one way. Game day, he flips that switch and he's like this. He's not talking to anybody. He puts the headphones on, he does his work, and he's all business.
What are you like on a game day, Jack? Are you a superstitious man?
Everybody asks that question. Do you have any superstitions? Do you have this? I would say no. Do I do the same shit? Yes. Do I have superstitions? No. I have a routine. But see, for me, a superstition would be like, all right, it's like I put my pants down. Like I'll put my pants down and I'll tie like my right shoe and then my left shoe. Or whatever, I don't even know. I couldn't tell you unless I did it
right now. Yeah.
But if I went out and pitched poorly, I wouldn't be like, oh, I tied the wrong shoe first. Like that'd be my blame, and I'd be like, oh shoot, next time out, I just gotta make sure I do that. Like for me, that's a superstition. Mm-hmm. Or I wore the same thing. Like no, I cut a different undershirt just about every game. So I'm not. Oh, I pitched well in this undershirt. I'm gonna wear it the next time out. Now, if I pitch bad, I'll probably throw that one out. I throw the cleats out, something. Like they didn't get it done. But yeah, I have a routine, but I'll never put a blame on like, oh, I put my belt on before my jersey this time, and I'd never do that. Like that's why I pitched bad. For me, that's just what a superstition is.
Yeah, for sure. Nah, that's when you're playing, it's more of a, you think of it as more routine. So much so, like when I in the off season, because I didn't want to like forget stuff I did in order, I would write it all down. Like I had it all written down. Like
this shit written down because when you go back and you get that first time spring training, you put the pants on. Like it's weird putting pants on for the first time in the jersey. I'm like, damn. All right, and then you got to go through it, and then you start remembering, like, all right, yeah. Like, I
what kind of stuff are you guys writing down?
Like that type of stuff, like how you put on your uniform.
On?
Yeah, like the stuff that you're supposed to do, like anything, like in the weight room or little things that you forget to do. Because I didn't want to give it up for one day. Like my very first start of spring training, my routine had to be on. Like I didn't want it to be off for like any time that I'm going to take the mound at any time. I had to do these things in order. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so I had to have it from the first day. I couldn't go to spring training and remember. Like I had to have it or else I would freak out.
It is interesting though what you're talking about, Jack, about the difference between routine and superstition. Because I'm just thinking even about it because I consider myself superstitious. But there are certain things like, for example, if I'm going to do play-by-play for an NBA broadcast, there's a million things I do every single game day that are part of my routine to make me feel prepared, right? That don't at all, I would never call superstitious because it's just how I feel prepared, But if I'm watching a game and like my team's losing, like I'm gonna touch the remote a certain amount of times, or I'm gonna like change
or
seats.
People like my
and then I'm gonna blame myself.
My mom's not gonna move, and anybody else around her cannot move if it's going. She was this way in high school. If the team was hitting, nobody moved. The second somebody got up and moved, and then somebody punched out, she's like, "You need to sit back down, or you got to switch it up." Like that's the superstition side. Like she was like, "Nah, sit down. Nobody move. Like stay away from me. Whatever it is." But absolutely, you watch a game, you think you affect everything. You sit in a certain way, and you get comfy. And you watch the game, you be like, "Man, I can't move." And then you get on Cardinals, be like, "I still can't move." Like they're gonna pull it off, and you don't move. You think you affecting it.
Absolutely.
So true. I got one of the craziest example of this I've ever seen in my life. One of my best friends, I spent 1 year at Loyola before I transferred to Fordham, and Bobby Preddy is my good friend still to this day. Biggest Yankee fan I know, and like really knowledgeable. You know, not like someone who's a diehard fan but like doesn't know the game. No, this man knows the game. It's like smart, intelligent dude. So superstitious though. And we were in college the 1 year that was the 04 ALCS, which obviously we know what happened in that ALCS with the Yankees and Red Sox. And in game 4, which went to extra innings of that ALCS, Bobby had this superstition, or maybe it was game 5 of the ALCS, which also went to extras, where he kept his arms up in the air for he could only put them down when it went to commercial, and he started in like the 7th inning. This dude's shoulders were absolutely on fire. This game goes like 14 innings. I'm like, Bobby, you gotta be dying, man. You gotta be dying. He was up in like a window crawl space with his arms up in the air watching. Like, I don't know if it's worth it, man. I think better off just losing.
No, I mean, yeah. When you're with your team, it's totally worth it. A couple of weeks ago, I always have to wear a Raiders hat the day that the Raiders are playing. Like so, Sunday, Thursday, whatever, Monday, I have to wear a Raiders hat or something Raiders. So a couple of weeks ago, we had a bar mitzvah to go to. The Raiders were playing, so I had to dress up. But guess what I'm wearing? A fucking Raiders hat. My wife was pissed, but guess what? I'm sitting in here with my Raiders hat, and I have my phone on watching the fucking game. Like, no, like this is serious for me.
It matters. It's real.
Honestly, they're lucky you showed up to the bar mitzvah. Okay, like seriously.
Raiders hat on, bro.
Oh, that's hilarious. I got to ask you guys this. All right, let's take Jack out of the equation. For each of you, if you could choose 3 pitchers, like an individual pitch from 3 pitchers currently in the game, whose pitches are you taking? Like, are you taking, for example, right? Are you taking Cole's heater? Give me like one guy, 3 different guys, 1 pitch per guy. Who are the top 3 pitches in the game right now? I always think about this because of Mo's cutter, right?
Yeah.
Like the way we saw.
I would say 2 pitches for sure that I'm taking is DeGrom's heater and Devin Williams changeup.
Oof.
The airbender, whatever they call it, like that pitch is lethal.
And he throws it on both sides of the plate too.
Both sides. I mean, Corbin Burns' cutter would be up there after what he did with it this year, like that. But I'm gonna take DeGrom's heater. You guys can't touch it. You can't see it. It's just it comes out and it's by you.
Why is that, Jack? Why do you think?
I faced him one time, and the first pitch that he threw me, I never saw it. Like it was, it threw it and it was in the glove. I was like, damn, all right, this is real. This was in 19 too. So he had his whatever he had. I think he was. I don't know if he was sub 2 that year or the year before. But that was. I mean, it was in the glove when he threw it. I was like, oh shit! Like this is real. Like you actually can't pick it up.
It's just so easy out of there. I feel like
easy too.
You know what I'm saying?
Easy. Yeah, I'm thinking breaking ball.
So you got 2, or are you gonna take the cutter? Or are you throwing something else in there?
Who's breaking ball? Like, I mean, I can always take Waino's curveball because it always plays.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking sliders because that's what I throw. Like, who else has?
I always say Chris Sale slider for me.
Okay. Sliders. Yeah, I keep thinking. Right.
Nah.
Because but Sales slider coming out from there. What you got? If you're taking three guys,
I would want you know whose heater I like, man? I like Lance Lynn's fastball at the top of the zone.
They can't touch it.
Nobody can hit it, bro. When they do,
so
they pop it up. Like
throws too.
That's all he throws is heaters. Like I love his heaters. So I would go Lance. I want Chris Sale's curveball or break or slider, whatever. And then who would be my my third? I feel like somebody on Tampa we're missing.
Somebody.
Yeah.
There's all those dudes out there. Like if I had to take a slide, if I had to take a slider, it might be like Trinan's slider.
Trinan's
thing,
like Ottavino.
Some that just goes the other way. Like I got change going this way, and then that one going this way. Or you ain't down to 3, so I'm either taking Waino's curveball or Trinan's slider. I have to pick one.
Can you imagine how? Now this is like imagine stepping on a mound and you have DeGrom's fastball, Devin Williams' changeup, and Adam Wainwright's curveball. Like, good night. You're unstoppable.
Yeah, that's your Doc Holliday, guys.
Yes.
Oh my god.
That dude was unbelievable.
He was
he made that ball move.
Ridiculous.
It was unbelievable. He was unbelievable to watch. He was always in control.
Hey, Jack, what is it like? Because C and I obviously are very familiar with Yankee fans, what it's like being around the Yankee organization. For CC, what it's like to pitch for this organization. One of the other legacy franchises in the history of baseball is the team you play for, the St. Louis Cardinals. How would you describe the fans in St. Louis and the weight of pitching in that uniform?
They're passionate. It's baseball. That's what they live for. That's what they want. They want to come out and watch it. They want to come out and watch good baseball, watch a good team. They want to come see Yachty every single day. I've been almost everywhere. Nobody gets an ovation like he does every time he comes to the plate. It's a different. The only one that like rivals it is when Albert comes and plays against us.
There you go.
Because they love seeing him and they love that. They are passionate. They love the game. It's fun pitching for a team and an organization like that where you have that history and all the people that have come through. Rest in peace. Bob Gibson. Be able to get to know him, have a relationship with that freaking legend right there.
Yeah.
Was special. Special the guys that they bring around when Ozzie comes around, when they had Gibson come around all the time. Chris Carpenter. Taking time and talking with me and be able to have that opportunity, like it's cool. That's stuff you can't make up or stuff I never really expected. I knew Ozzie Smith was a part of the Cardinals. Like I grew up a baseball fan. I never imagined being able to sit down with him and have a conversation or talk with him during BP. Like that stuff's cool. But pitching for a team where it matters and every game matters and how the team's doing, like that's fun. That I enjoy that. I want to win. That's all I want to do. It's really cool being in that environment and knowing, like, yeah, there is pressure to win. You go out there, you don't win, they're not going to show up. It's just not how it's going to be.
I gotta ask you because Bob Gibson was always a guy I was fascinated with.
Yeah, me too.
What is, I guess, either the most memorable interaction you had with him or something that you took away that still stays with you from interactions with him?
I think meeting him was the coolest part for me. Was how I met him. So we had they do their Cardinals Hall of Fame weekend, and so they bring all the legends back. So Ozzie, all of them were around, and they all come in the clubhouse and they hang out in there for a second, and they go on the field. I'm always running around doing something, so I'm never there. Like I said, what's up to Ozzie? And I had to go run and get some treatment and whatnot. And I was like, all right, great. Like, it's good to see y'all, but I got to get my work in. One of the media guys, this is while media was still in the clubhouse. I was walking through, he comes, finds me, and he's like, Gibson's looking for you. I was like, what? He's like, Gibson's looking for you. I was like, what you mean he's looking for me? Like, I don't want to hear this, this. He said, nah. I was like, well, he said, he's in the dugout. He's looking for you. I was like, all right. So I dropped everything I was doing, put pants on, put uni on, because it was they do a ceremony before the game, so I had to go get dressed. Went out there and got to talk to him for 15 minutes before they did like the intros and everything, and just asking him in like. And I thought that for me that was cool and something that's going to stick with me because he was seeking me, which I was like,
yeah.
That has not always set in my mind. I was like, why'd you want to come find me? And he just was like, I like the way you pitch. I like the way you use your fastball. He said, keep pitching inside. Like that's what you do. You got to do that and attack guys. It's like this whole nibbling around. Like that's when you get like, why would you do that? Like take that, throw it by them, or make them hit it. Like if you don't believe that you're the best guy out there, then get off the mound and they'll bring somebody else out and they'll come get you. And he was just this who he was. Like how he was when he pitched is how he was away from it. He was just straightforward. That's who he was. I think the funniest, I told people this, the funniest thing he ever told me was people were like, he was this intimidating guy. You know, he always had this look on his face on the mound. And he tells this story about, you know, people talk about that look and everything. So I would squint and I was like looking in, like I was all mad. And he was like, I just couldn't see the fucking signs. But I went with it.
It worked.
People thought I was like, I was glaring them down because I was looking so intently trying to read the signs. Like I couldn't see. I had to look that hard to see what the fuck he was putting down. But it worked.
That's amazing.
I think that was like, I was like, all right, he was like, he got it. He was like, they think I'm intimidating. Like I am. I'm not going to talk to you. We play all-star game against you. I'm not going to talk to you. You what? We go be teammates for a day and then I got to go play against you in 3 days. Like fuck out of here. I'm not going to talk to you. Yeah. That's who he was. It was fun to have those couple conversations with him.
Man, I got my Black Aces t-shirt on right now today, but that's awesome to be able to like have those conversations with him and, you know, like you said, have him seeking you out. That's amazing.
That's the craziest part, that he seeked me out the first time that I went to go meet him. And that's an opportunity like you don't get those. So I jumped at that. He told me he was going to have his number and email left in my locker. Sure enough, it was when I got back in there. So that was cool. I was able to pick up the phone, call him. Yeah.
That is amazing. Well, look, Jack, that is, I feel like that's a terrific crescendo for us to end things on, man. It's always fun watching you pitch, and now we know it's fun talking with you as well. So I hope we get you back on, maybe for some Lakers analysis as this NBA season gets going a little bit, man. You know? Yeah,
we'll see how it goes. Once they get Braun back, I think things are going to start to get flowing here. They're going to be all right.
They play out here, I think, on the 23rd. I'm going to go check them out again. So, see what they got against the Knicks.
Yeah. Knicks all right.
The Knicks all right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, I might buy some Knicks shit now before I buy some more Nets shit.
Stop that. you haven't been watching the Knicks since that 5-1 start, if you feel that way.
I'm rolling with the winners, cuz. I'm rolling with the winners.
Yeah, he's gonna bring out all the Warriors stuff. Bring back all the Warriors stuff.
Man, let me tell you something, Jack. The way C and I first connected in the summer of 2009 was rooting for the Lakers together.
Yeah, I was a Laker fan.
You never know where this guy's going to end up. You just
They were really good back then, cuz. I grew up a Laker fan. That was when I was still like actually like following a team. Mm-hmm. And then once Shaq left and all that shit happened, then I kind of like was just following whoever was good.
They didn't have Shaq in 09.
No, they didn't, but they were good though.
I was a Kobe fan, so I became a Laker fan.
It was Kobe and Powell. They were good though, so they got back good.
And Odom,
but I was already a Warriors fan by then because I had my season tickets, so I was already on the Believe. You know what I'm saying? That was like the Baron Davis.
That was right after the Believe.
I was on that squad. Al Harrington,
DD and Matt Barnes.
Yes.
You just hopped off them because the Lakers happen to still be playing late into spring.
He had that filler period. He had Kobe and Shaq, then he had the We Believe Warriors, and then he got the Kobe and Powell.
There we go.
Until he got Steph. And KD.
And my Raiders are so bad, bro. We go through so much that this time of year, every year is when I start watching basketball. Week 10 in NFL season, it always goes to shit for me every fucking year.
Man, you know what? It's at least a little later than New York football. I feel like week 6, the Giants and Jet fan base has to turn their attention away, man.
You can wrap the Jets up before it starts. For some reason, they got hope.
As soon as they draft, cuz.
Oh, it is amazing. Like it's amazing how that happens with some franchises, and the Raiders and Jets are certainly two of them.
Fuck you.
Jack, thank you so much, man. Have a good, healthy off season, and let's talk again sometime soon, man. Thanks for hopping on R2C2.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.